Oh no.
True! I have had... Are you in love right now? No, because I wouldn't be friends with them, because that's weird. So if someone's like, oh my gosh, and acting like really weird, then I'm just not wanting to be friends with them. It's kind of, you know.
I'm gonna go with no. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me.
I definitely have met people that I thought wanted to just be like casual friends, and then later they would kind of make weird comments about like our band, or just like, oh, you're following and stuff. And it just really rubbed me the wrong way, to the point where now I like don't really trust people. So when I meet people, I'm always like, have they heard of our band? Like, it's just harder to trust people and meet new people because of that.
I have had a lot of friends who have talked to me because they know who I am, or people who have told me that they like knew who I was like afterwards. So I don't know, maybe. I never found out about it though.
Yeah, but I think I kind of just knew that from the start, and then I was kind of just like, didn't really talk to them anymore. I have had friends where I found out that they knew who I were after the fact. They knew who I was after the fact, like, oh, I've seen your YouTube videos, but I didn't have anyone that was like trying to be my friend and like, oh, I will have YouTube success if I befriend Lisa. Like, as far as I know, none of my friends are doing that. Could be wrong. Check back in 10 years.
Probably the body insecurities. That is kind of hard to like tell that to a bunch of people that you don't even know. Just like, oh, this one I'm insecure about my body. It's like, ugh. And then you're like, oh, are they gonna be like looking for that in the videos, or like trying to figure out, like, I don't know. It's just weird to share that with people that you don't know.
The most difficult part of filming that video was actually that there was an 18-year-old boy filming it. So I was like, it's a little too intimate right now. And I felt like I shouldn't be sharing all of that. So that was honestly the most difficult part of it.
It was just kind of awkward for me to just talk about stuff like that, because I'm not that like super open about that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I was not satisfied with my performance in the biggest insecurities video. I didn't mentally prepare at all. I was speaking about my feelings, but not speaking from them, if that makes sense. I feel like Danny was speaking from her feelings. I was like, man, that's what I wanted to do. So it wasn't that hard for me, but I wish that I would have done more to prepare so that it would have been hard.
I think that the most difficult part about that video, it really wasn't that hard to film. I talk about my emotions very, very well. The scary part is just like feeling them. So I think the most difficult part was afterwards, like feeling things, because it kind of like made me think. It was really scary beforehand because I was like, I don't want to do this.
The whole thing basically was the most difficult part. I don't really like feeling exposed, you know, unless I'm like talking to someone that I really know. So it was just kind of scary.
What is the dating life? It's been harder because it makes it a little bit more difficult to meet people, because there's like weird schedules sometimes, and you like, sometimes you leave town for like a month and then you like miss a bunch of places and things you could meet people, but then like if you miss things, you weren't, I guess, supposed to meet these people.
Okay, so I've only been dating one person since being on YouTube, except actually at the beginning I was dating my ex-boyfriend who hates it when I talk about him on the internet, so I'm gonna talk about him on the internet. He was being a rat. I'm not even saying his name, okay? I'm in the clear. I never talked about my band around him ever because I thought that it was kind of like a sensitive subject and he wouldn't be very like excited about it. So then one day he randomly exploded on me and was like, you talk about your band so much, because I literally said one thing finally. I said, oh my gosh, we just put up a cover of Part of the USA and it got 20,000 views. And he was like, you talk about your band so much. And I was like, I literally consciously do not talk about the band ever around you. So then I was like, excuse me, and I immediately sped away in my minivan. So I was like, no, bye.
Yes, because some guys are like, ooh, the glitz, the glam, the fame, and it's kind of weird. And I'm like, like, you don't know if they like you because of you, or because like you have this like whole thing surrounding you that they think is really cool. And then it's also difficult trying to keep it private sometimes, because okay, yeah, that's over. Just difficult keeping it private.
Oh.
No, I don't think YouTube makes it hard to date. I could see like a few challenges because of it, but I think those are just challenges that would come from any career, like, oh, I'm pretty busy this week, you know? It's not really YouTube specific.
Yes,
there's definitely been some boys that I dated that were like really weird about our band, or like they would not mention it, and then like a long time in they would like mention it, and I'd be like, wait, you knew about this and you didn't say anything?
I mean, I haven't like officially really dated like anyone, but in terms of like talking to boys or whatever, it doesn't really make a difference.
Danny, I'm sorry, I need those headphones. It's okay, sorry.
Yes, when I was a teenager, I really wanted to go to a normal school. I felt like I was totally missing out and I hated being homeschooled. But now that I'm a young adult, I love the fact that I was homeschooled and I would never change it.
Yes, I thought about going to a quote real school all the time, especially like last year. I was really in the like high school scene. I had a ton of friends who went to this one high school, so I really wanted to go there because I wanted to like, be with all these people. But then I stopped being friends with all of them, and now I don't really like any of them. And I have like way less friends than I used to just because I like changed.
I liked certain things about real school, which I allowed myself to experience. Like, oh, I want to go to a football game. I went to the football games. I want to go to prom. I went to prom. Since birth, I have been obsessed with setting myself apart from other people. I never want to be part of a group. So this has been a struggle. I'm just kidding. I never want to feel like I'm part of the crowd. So I loved the fact that I was homeschooled and I had 10 siblings, and anything about me that was possibly different, I was like, yes. So any of the little good parts of school I took, but then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have to do that.
When I was younger, I did wonder about like real school a lot, but because I had like read about it in books, watched it on TV, in the movies. But when my friends would tell me about regular school, like the public high school that they went to in our town, I was like, I don't want any part of this.
Yes, I have been curious, but I really liked being homeschooled, so I never really wanted to go to a public school.
I was definitely like really curious about real school. As a teen, I did go to like high school events all the time, so I got like a high school experience, but still I was kind of like, what are they talking about when they're like, oh, first period, this, that, and the other thing. I was like, what? First period? And like homework, I was like really excited when I went to college when I was 16 and I had homework. I was like, oh, I have homework. I have a backpack. I was like so excited about everything. So I think I was curious, but then at the same time I was like, heck no, I'm not gonna sit in a class for 7 hours or whatever.
I feel like I learned how to learn a lot better than the public schooling system teaches you, at least from my experience, because when I went to public school at 14, I went to junior college, and I learned how to cram for tests and spit out a bunch of information and then categorize it as now outdated and useless. So I basically learned to soak up a bunch of information and puke it out on a test and then forget about it. So the school system temporarily ruined me, but I prevailed.
I feel like being a homeschooler, you just think outside of the box. Like, you're not used to being in this constant state of like conformity, so you naturally become more individualistic and like comfortable with like doing your own thing and being yourself.
I'd say it impacts my life in almost every way because, I mean, I was raised completely differently. Like, I wasn't raised around people my age who aren't my siblings, like other than like the few friends that I had. Like, I had a few friends, but it wasn't like I was in this environment of kids my age all the time. It changed like everything about my life because it's like how I grew up.
Well, it definitely can make it hard to relate to other people, especially as a teenager. Like, most people are just talking like, oh yeah, school, oh yeah, this test, oh yeah, this teacher, oh yeah, school. And I was just like, I don't really know what that means or what that's like, so it's kind of hard to relate to people, but I think it made it easier for me to develop my own talents and my own opinions and like my own clothing style. Not that you can't do that if you go to school, but it's a lot harder, I think, when you have all these people your age around you every single day. It definitely made me more unique, I would say, but it's hard to relate to people sometimes.
I think it affected me a lot because I wasn't around everyone all day who could kind of like judge me, basically. So I didn't feel as self-conscious 24/7. I still felt very self-conscious. I didn't feel like that all day, which I think would have been really bad for me. And I was always hanging out with people younger than me because it was my siblings. So I ended up having a lot of younger friends. I think differently because of that. I'm not thinking in like a school mindset, and I don't like responding to the bells and standing in line and sitting there and being quiet and asking to go to the bathroom. Like, that wasn't like a normal thing to me.
Homeschooling changed my life because it really allowed me to like develop on my own and to make my own opinions about things and learn how to process things on my own instead of in a setting with a bunch of people my age that would be like really distracting to me.
No. Sorry.
Yes, I'm in love with my boyfriend, Max.
No, that's absolutely not. No, not today.
Am I in love RN? I'm gonna go with a no. But you know,
I like that you had to think about that.
things change fast, you know, so we'll see. Check back. Never, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm getting married, so I would sure hope so. Yes! For 8 years! Wait, is it 9 years? When did I meet him? 2010. No, it's 8. It's 8 years. What in Ruth's name and why are you eating?
I'm just gonna say yes and leave it at that. Person I fight with most, probably Danny, because sometimes she gets in this weird mood where she's like really rude and I have to be like, you're being rude, but it's not really a fight because then she's kind of just like, oh, sorry. But we definitely argue the most because we're the closest.
When I fight, it's pretty bad. Not that I'm like really rude or like, you're an idiot, but like I just am very aggressive and I don't really like to back down, which can be kind of rude. So usually I would say I fight with Amy, Christina, and Lisa, because we're like the closest in age. And I feel like the siblings that you're the closest to, you fight with the most.
Amy gets mad at me a lot. Every time I get in a car with her, I'm like, turn right, turn left. I'm like, you need to back up and look over your shoulder. I literally think that I'm supposed to drive the car for her from the passenger seat, and it's horrible. And then she takes it for like 10 minutes and then starts yelling at me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I deserve that. I'm like, sorry. She's like, you don't respect me!
The only people I've actually like fought with would be Catherine and Lisa.
We fought the other day. We didn't really fight. You just yelled at me.
Oh, I did. I remember that. It was good times.
I'm not really trying to offend anyone almost ever. Like I'm not like, I know just what to say. I don't really do that. I like say something and then I'm like, dang it. So I would say the people who get offended by me the most are Kat and Lisa, the people closest to my age.
I like how they just said fight, so it sounds like a physical fight. Lauren and I get in like little tiffs sometimes, and then actually Catherine and I have like a lot of ways that we clash, so we kind of get mad at each other sometimes.
No. When I was younger, I'm the kind of person that sees someone do something and I'm like, oh, I have to do that too. Then Catherine was like, I'm not gonna kiss anybody until I get married. So I was like, oh, I'm supposed to do that too. So I started out with that intention.
Hey, I said that too, okay?
A long time. Probably like in the last 2 years, I reevaluated and I was like, I don't think that's like my path. Since I was so like much older, I don't want to like waste it. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I've never met anybody that was like, yeah, you're a great candidate, so no.
No, I will not talk about it. It was horrible. It was a bad experience. That's all I'm gonna say.
My first kiss has not happened. You might be like, what? You're 26. But I actually made a decision when I was 17 to save my first kiss for my wedding day, which is a whole long spiritual journey. So, never kissed anyone.
Yeah. So, I cried right after it happened, like literally in the moment. It was with this guy that I've been dating for like 3 months, so like, felt pretty good about him and he was like really nice. But I started crying because I was like 17, I think, and I was really scared of relationships, so I was like, ah, too close, like now we're getting too close. And also because I was overwhelmed because I was like, wow, can't believe somebody actually cares about me. You know, it was just a little weird.
You guys were yelling really loud during Catherine's like really loud.
I was 15, I was almost 16. It was with this boy who I actually just saw like this morning. And he, how do I explain this? It was good. Like, it was a good experience and he was nice. He ended up ending things with me like 2 weeks after. Actually like a week after. So that was not fun. The aftermath was not fun.
Can you talk about your first kiss? I don't know, can I? Just kidding. 17, my brother's older friend who was dumb. No offense, he's never gonna be watching this. I don't think he has the internet. I was like obsessed with him, but it was dumb because yeah, it wasn't like a real like love situation. It was like that, you know what I mean?
definitely. Being Catholic is incredibly countercultural. I heard someone say that like Jesus and Christians in general, they never fit into society, and that's just the way that it's always gonna be, which made me feel very good. You're living this life that is so opposite of what is out there, and you're finding so much joy and fulfillment in this life, and it's so incredible, but you're also being intensely judged by all these people that don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, or they're even like misreading it and putting some intention behind it that is not even there. So I would say it makes it harder, but it makes my life so much better. So I would never change the judgment or like the criticism or the pressure for the amazing joy that I found through the Catholic faith.
I'm not really very public about my faith on social media. I definitely should be a lot more public about it. When I do talk about it, it's very well received by our fans at least. A lot of people in the industry wanted us to do certain things or act certain ways and be things we didn't want to be because of our faith and because of our morals.
Yes, because I think people judge you a lot. So it's kind of hard for me sometimes like to decide whether or not to bring up God or my faith in some things because I don't want people to be rude or like judge me.
It was reality show producers.
Someone at a company was like, oh, you guys should try to drop the do-gooder act and not talking about God so much. Whenever like people get annoyed with it or they're scared of it like excluding people.
I think I was kind of, not like ashamed, but like I was really quiet about our faith for a long time because I was like, ugh. Because people really like make fun of you a lot. I've experienced this for like being Christian or like respecting Christian values or wanting to live them out. People have said some really interesting things to me in my life because they're like, oh, you're just like trying to be a goody or something. So people always try to make fun of me, even still at 28 almost, for different decisions that I've made because I don't want to do certain things or I think they're dumb or whatever. Talking about like your love for Jesus, for instance, it can be really like foreign topic to certain people and they're like, what are you talking, which I understand. If you're not in that world and then someone starts talking about that, you might kind of be like, what?
It does get made fun of a lot by television and movies and stuff. So that was always something that was hard for me, was like watching my faith get like made fun of. I was never like super nervous, like, oh no, what if people know that I'm Christian? That wasn't like a big thing for me. So it hasn't really made it harder in like my professional life, but in my personal life, it has, in a way.
All right, and we're done. Get out. All I have is this here guitar and a dream to play in a Walmart like Mason Salisbury, what's his name? I want to be that. Every day I take this here guitar and I write songs about living in a field, chewing on a weed. I always loved listening to Johnny Cash and Cash Money. My inspirations are Def Leppard, Zepp, Pep in Your Step. I gave my life for the stream, and I hope you'll give your life for me. Stay alive, folks. Stay alive out in these streets. It's hard. Stay alive. Thank you. I wanna know what love is.